We're so excited to have you guys here today. Uh, at Athletic Estate, we spend a lot of time talking about how we help athletes in the game of sports transition into the game of life. And today we're here to talk about that. We want to learn from you about, what your highlights are in the game of sports and what that transition's been like. But ultimately, how do we win in the game of life? And we're so excited to have you here. We are with Mason Crosby and Alejandro Mata. And we are so excited today to be talking about legacy. And the beauty of having these two guys sitting with us together is that we have the former number 16 Hall of Famer, record-setting career. You've just been inducted into the Colorado Athletic Hall of Fame, and we also have the current number 16 in the game for the Buffaloes, and you've got a game this weekend against Arizona State. So in today's game of sports, we talk a lot about name, image, and likeness. And the way we like to think about it is name, image, and legacy. And today, we're honoring you this weekend in your legacy as Hall of Fame. So, talk to us a little bit how you came about the number and what does number 16 mean to you?
I wish it was a better story. Like, oh man, I had a dream, and 16 was in my vision. But I was number 17 in high school, and then I came to the University of Colorado, and like any good specialist, they said, "Here's your jersey," and I said, "Sweet, number 16. I like the number. We're good." And once you get established, I probably, I could have changed if I had a weird number that I just didn't feel good about, but 16 fit. I love the number. Love how it looked on the jersey. And then, you start having some moments and, it just, it becomes kind of one of those things where it's I saw my number and it was like, man, all right, this is what I need to keep rocking with.
Well, I tell you when you look at the pictures of you, playing the game of sports, there's this you both have done this. I don't know if you realize it, but when you've made a big kick, it's this motion right here. We've got it right here on the cover, the arms up. So talk about when you were playing the game. When was that first big moment you had at Colorado that really started to change your trajectory as an athlete?
Oh man. It's probably, sophomore year. Was that sophomore year? I kicked a 60-yard. Was it sophomore year? I kicked a 60-yard. I'm gonna ask for confirmation. Okay, sorry. We'll edit that up. My sophomore year against Iowa State, I had my biggest game. I kicked a 60-yard field goal in that game, banked it off the left upright, and then I hit a 55-yarder right before halftime. And I think honestly, sometimes it's like the celebration, the arms up, and I played soccer and different things. But it's also I think I'm making sure the refs know that it's good as well, right? You're just like, yes, that one went in. Let's confirm it. So, it's almost like it was involuntary, and then it just kind of was always any long field goal, any kind of game winner, arms went up, and that was a celebration.
And that's amazing too, because those game winners started to stack, and you are Colorado's leading point getter, right? You have 308 points. The consistency of that. Talk a little bit about what that means to hold that record.
Yeah, it was really important to me, and we were talking about it a little bit today. After going, being inducted into the University of Colorado Athletic Hall of Fame, I chose to come back for my senior year after Gary Barnett had been fired. Dan Hawkins was becoming the new head coach. I just didn't know what that was going to look like, but I was right on the cusp of so many things. And, as we're talking about legacy and all of those, I chose, instead of trying to pursue the NFL, where I had a grade where, they were projecting me in the, first 3 rounds of the NFL draft after my junior year, just with how that sophomore and junior year had gone. But I was just like, I'm coming back. I talked to Coach Gary Barnett. My mom kind of reminded me of a conversation where I was just like, what should I do? And he was like, you're right on the verge of, just having your name in the stadium, solidifying that legacy here at Colorado. And so choosing to come back for my senior year and setting all those records, getting that points record, the long field goals, all those things. I wouldn't change a thing. It ended up being, kind of that piece that really solidified my time here in Colorado.
Yeah, that's so important. And in a day and age where so many athletes are transferring
Yeah.
one year after the other, records like this, it comes because you stayed.
Yeah.
And you're being honored at a school because you stayed.
Yeah.
Right? Could you imagine had you left what this moment would have been? This moment probably never happened if you go. And I think for a lot of athletes out there that are thinking the grass is greener somewhere else, that you're a perfect example of the grass is greener where you water it, right? And you grow, you planted right here. You made Colorado your home. In fact, if I understand correctly, you also met your spouse here,
yes.
Colorado.
Yeah.
So there's a deep history of Colorado.
Deep history. Yep. Legacy is deep. Obviously, I have 5 kids now, and who knows? Maybe we'll get a couple of them coming to school here as well. I'm trying to. My son Nolan is here, watching us do this, and as we're walking around, he's been out on the field. I'm like, you're feeling it, right? Like, let's get to working on the game, and maybe he can come play for Prime here in a couple of years. But yeah, that legacy is so important. My wife Molly was a cheerleader here at Colorado, and to be able to come back and share in these moments. Without that senior year, I do feel like there would have been there would have been a piece missing. Had a great career, but that really kind of solidified it for me.
That's amazing. Well, you're sitting next to a senior.
That's right.
At Colorado. And Alejandro, talk to us a little bit about your emotions going into this weekend. It's senior day. It's your last home game in the stadium. What's going through your mind at this stage?
Definitely a lot. A lot of mixed emotions because obviously I'm excited for the game, but I'm also sad that it's about to be over pretty much. I'm happy, all the opportunities, all the blessings that have come my way this season, last season, and the season before that here at Colorado. But sadly, everything does come to an end, and I think I'm ready to accept that.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this when we first talked about getting together, and I had asked you, I said, did you know that you came from a great line of kickers that wore number 16? And I know I watched you probably grow like 2 inches right in front of me. You were so excited to know that Mason was in your lineage. Talk a little bit about your thoughts about Mason coming into that number 16. I understand you knew some of the history with him. So
I've been known who Mason Crosby is. He used to be my kicker in fantasy all the time, and he was a lock, pretty much like my 9th round pick on fantasy, and then automatic 10 points every time. Like originally I didn't even know that he went to University of Colorado when I first committed, but then when I posted my commitment picture, it was a picture of you kicking actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way that's Mason Crosby, no chance. And obviously big shoes to fill, but great legacy. Keep moving with a great legacy that we got going.
Yeah, well, you're in. We talk a lot about at Athletic State about being in the game of sports, right, and making the most of your moments. And one of the great things about the number that we feel is that name, image, and likeness. It's a shared likeness, right? And so when you put on that jersey, you're not just putting on the jersey for you. You're putting on the jersey for the people who wore for you. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I was a former athlete. I played at Arkansas State, number 40. And I would say when I go back to watch the game, I'm looking for the person wearing my number.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how many times have you come looking around going, man, who's wearing my number through the years?
Well, you always watch. Yeah. It's like whenever Prime and everybody, this University of Colorado was kind of changing culture and what was happening around here, and then I see Mata come in, and I'm like, I'm always watching, and it is a piece about legacy where it's like you got to know whenever you're wearing someone's number, it's like they're going to be watching, and I always took that as well. Whenever it's like I put on, it's also the name Colorado and that number. The people that come before you are going to pay attention. So you carry yourself with a lot of class and character, and go out and just do it the right way. Right? There's going to be ups and downs on the field, but as long as you're a person of good character and statue, and you go about your business the right way, like nobody can ever look at it cross-eyed. So for me, that was always how I approached it as well. Whether it was the number or the name as well, I'm gonna always try to carry myself the right way.
Yeah, that transition as athletes, it comes so quickly. It's that legacy piece, right? It's so important that handoff be done well. And I appreciate at Colorado that there's this handoff of 16 to 16 and your kickers, right? Because I think there's something to be said, like you understand the pressure of the moment. you guys have been in big moments and have performed well, even beyond the game. I mean, Super Bowl winner,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, there's so many things that we could speak to your career with 16 years at Green Bay in the NFL. It's really exciting to have this conversation. There's one other aspect though that when we talk about legacy and leadership, we've all heard the story of if I walk a mile in a man's shoe, you get to know a little bit about the man. But in this sense, you get to walk a mile in the man's number, right? And you've been in the locker rooms, you've been in that same experience, you've been in the team meetings, you've been in the caravans where the police are shutting the whole street down,
those.
right? You missed those moments, right? Yeah,
I miss the police escort.
I know, right? It's
nice.
like being an athlete means never stopping for a stop.
Right? Yeah, why are we slowing down?
Exactly. So Alejandro, I'd love to maybe put you on the spot here a little bit, but in that light, here you are in the jersey, and if there was something you could ask someone who's been in your shoes, who's been in your jersey, what's a question that you might have for Mason?
I have a lot of questions, that's for sure. Kicking questions, and obviously just overall how to become a better person, how to represent number 16 in a better way. Just because I know, like I was saying, big shoes to fill, and that's on the field. I know Mason, he's like one of the best guys ever from what I've heard from the old heads over like Pearl Street, over at the Hill, over like they always talk about the legacy of number 16, right? And so, probably the question would be, how'd you do it? What does it take for a kicker to be in like one of the NFL greats, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it all started here. Started before I even got to Colorado with my family and just kind of my upbringing, the way that I approach things. There was never a challenge that I was willing to back down from. Right? It's like I feel and any miss I had, like ask me about. I don't remember like the misses. Like I don't know if it was this innate ability or just that I chose to forget like those moments of failure. We like to use that word failure a lot, especially in sports. And I say it all the time. I'm like, failure only exists whenever you stop trying to like move forward and do something different. So if we sit still in those moments of mistake or miss or all that, then we fail. And so like I've just never stopped pushing forward, right? And for me, that was my story here. That was my story in the NFL, was just like make or miss. I'm just gonna go head on into the next challenge, the next opportunity. And then that word opportunity, just seek those out. Like they're not gonna always present themselves to you where you like see them fully and oh, this is that moment. But whenever something just feels right or is presented in front of you, go in it all the way. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to miss. And I had to learn that multiple times in my career. It wasn't like it always just stay there. I sometimes had to be reminded or have someone else remind me, like, don't have fear going out on that field and laying it on the line. Like making or missing a kick is not going to define you. Like you have the rest of your life to be the person on and off the field that you want to be. So, you obviously seem to be a great teammate and do all those things as well. I had advice before I became a professional, before I even came into the college world, of being a good teammate, being in the locker room, being one of the guys. I played other positions in high school, so coming into Colorado, it was almost a transition for me, not just being on the field all the time. So it was like I had to learn how to be a kicker and how to still be one of the guys and be a teammate. So I think those are really important pieces of advice I got that I really like to pass forward as well.
No, that's fantastic. You talk about the game of life, around every great athlete, there's a whole family that exists. And I know both you guys come from great families. Share a little bit. In fact, Alejandro, I'll let you share first. Had a chance to, talk with your dad, and you guys have a great relationship, and it's fun to see those moments behind the scenes. But for you, share a little bit about your routine, kind of that behind the scenes. Give us a little taste of what this family support system looks like for you.
Well, I've always had like a pretty close family, not only from like, my mom, my sisters, and my dad, but from both sides of my family. We've always made sure to celebrate Christmas together, New Year's together. Any school break that we had, we always spent it with family. Um, and then just having, or knowing the fact that they have my back no matter what is probably one of the biggest like show offs that I have. And it's truly a blessing just because I know that I have their support no matter what decision I have in my life.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And then Mason, I love, yeah, for you as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of culminates with moments like going into the Hall of Fame or things like that. And just my brother and my sister being here, my parents come in, and then obviously the family now that I've built.
You got a whole family behind the scenes.
I know. I always
see
if I'm pointing out, we got a lot watching, so it's like playing in a game. We got a crowd over here, but I'm used to that. It's and then I built my own little family with 5 kids and with my wife. So we travel in a big bunch, and just like Alejandro was saying, is that they're there. They're going to be the realist with me as well. I mean, we were laughing at dinner last night and trying to arguing who was the smartest of the kids and who was the best at different things. My sister thinks she's the smartest. She took some IQ tests or something. But we had it's so good, and those spaces are so important, right? Because no matter how high you make it, your lowest of lows, your highest of highs, like family is always going to kind of center you and keep you there, and it's so important.
That's fantastic, and I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts. Family is it's such a big part of the game of life, right? And as we transition from the game of sports to the game of life, family becomes a big part of how we win in that space. And you guys both come from great families, and you guys represent well. So I want to thank you guys for the time. It's such a pleasure to hear both your stories, and we look forward to seeing the legacy of 16 continue to live on this weekend with Alejandro. Hopefully it'll be a couple moments for you to knock it through the uprights, and we're going to celebrate with you in those moments. And the last question I've got for you, who's going to be the next number 16, right? I mean, it's like if you had to choose, if you had to pass this baton to the next one, who do you think should be the next one to wear it?
It's on you. I don't know all that.
And Alejandro, this is yours. You're the one in the jersey right now, so you get to pick.
But it's gotta be whoever gets the starting job next year.
That's right. Okay.
It needs to be handed down. We should do it. It should be a ceremony.
That's right. That's right.
I agree.
That's right. We don't want to retire the number. We want to honor it. Let that number live on, right? Absolutely. Well, we'll talk to Coach Brown about that. See if we can get done. So, but gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. And game on.
That's right. Good luck.
Appreciate it.